Hello, Stephen Andrews. We are live. I'm pretty sure. Are we live?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me change this selection.
Yes. There we
Put it
are.
over here. Start this.
Dead Dog's Garage should have ended 15 minutes ago, Stephen. That's
Maybe
why I put it for 8:15
maybe he's going long.
and not at 8. He never goes long. He's another one just wants to get out of there at 2 hours. So many people in here right now.
Stop. He finished my
Is
dinner.
Stephen in here?
Um, I think he is, but I don't think he's talking. Might be. But he's out of town watching the Dodge. Yes, he is.
Okay,
So
he
he
is
just
in
sent.
here. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Steven.
Why did he end so late? He's supposed to end at 8 o'clock, my time. Top of the hour.
Didn't I press play on this? What the hell,
No,
man? I pressed play,
nobody here to see him yet.
but I pressed play.
You just did.
Josh Hammond is here.
Hello, Josh. How are you tonight?
It says he had his brother calling on his son on, so they went long.
Oh, okay.
Trey Williams is here.
Hello, Stray Bullet.
On the Thunderbird.
And Thunderbird. Hello. It's Sunday night.
And I'm having pasta.
Yeah. What is it called?
Um, Pasta with meat, sauce, and cheese.
No, the
And
shape of the pasta.
I'm having macaroni and
That's not macaroni.
yes, this is macaroni.
What's the other ones? The long ones.
Penny.
Mm, I'm not saying that.
Well, I'm
You're
having
not the
macaroni.
first one here, Stray Bullet. Steven was here first.
Mark is also here.
Hello, Mark. Long time no see. And Steven again. Steven too. Palm Sunday. Is it Palm Sunday?
I think so.
Yeah, because next week is Holy Week, and Thursday and Friday everything is closed. So we were hoping to, if the deal had went through, we would have been on our way to Michoacan right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy's wife wouldn't let him send me the money, or she works at the bank. She wouldn't send me the money.
Hey, Mark. What's having dinner right now?
Well, most of them are way on the other side of the country. So
Mm. I'm used to having late dinner.
Thunderbird's in the middle of the country, so maybe he's having dinner.
Everybody says, I know, but if I said enough, it will come true.
We all try that, Stray Bullet. We all try that,
Whipping sound?
but it didn't happen. So next week is Holy Week. Basically, the country is going to be shut down on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there's nothing we can do.
What is whipping sound?
I don't know.
Making noise?
Hopefully, not what I think he's saying.
Oh, okay. The possible customer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, Barracuda.
Well, hey Barry. Well, Steven, his wife works at the bank, and they're taught, to sniff out fraud and everything. So she thinks everything is fraud. So unfortunately, he can't get around her to send the money because she would be the one to send the money. She would be the one to actually do the wire inside the bank to me. So there's no way for him to get around her. He tried convincing her and everything, but no. So that's the best we could do.
Thunderbird says, I never got your email. Just wondering what the shipping to North Dakota costs.
I haven't gotten a quote. The guy keeps saying, "Yeah, I got that." Like he knows he has to give me the quotes, but he hasn't gotten me them yet.
Cinnamon also says, actually, I already ate the big homemade burgers.
We
Tasty.
haven't made burgers here in a long time.
Yeah. You
I
don't
stopped
know.
buying ground beef because it just was not tasting good no matter what we did. I don't know if it was the meat or the way we prepared it. I don't know. But we just stopped.
Believing yourself is also here.
Hello, Believe. Welcome.
Burger says Easter.
Yeah, something like that. Somebody's going to come back to life or something this weekend. I don't know.
The zombies.
Yeah.
Traveler says, when I sell anything, I always tell the person that if you need to talk to your wife, you need to do so before you come here.
Well, yeah, but she's the one that handles the finances. So, he explained everything to her. I mean, he even called Lester LeSabre. My previous customer said, Lester said, yeah, he was really, positive on the phone and everything. And then it comes to that, and she won't send out the money because we were ready to take off. We were ready to go get it, and we would have been headed down tomorrow. We would have been at the truck, this exact truck that's on the screen here. Well, the black one that's on the screen. We would have been there Monday, and we would have headed out down to Veracruz to ship it off Monday, Tuesday, and we would have come back on Wednesday.
Nitos here.
Hello, Nito.
Marcelo says, so I live in a funny area. I live near Ottawa, but I'm in Quebec. For years I worked in Ottawa. Easter weekends, Ontario has the holiday on Good Friday and Quebec on Easter Monday.
Easter Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Sunday.
No, there's also an Easter Monday.
Not here.
Yes. Joshua says, I had one burger earlier. Mark says, Zombie Jesus weekend. Yep.
Yep.
Thunderbird says, gotta put apple cider vinegar in with your beef, especially if it's not great.
I just, you buy the sirloin or you buy the 80/20. I just couldn't get anything that tasted good to me anymore. So I just stopped buying it, and instead of going with burgers and fries, I went with chicken breast.
I can cook.
It's probably more healthy for me.
I can cook, but I'm not a great cook, so I'm not good at like spices and stuff. Trevor says that's a complete deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Mercury says, "Are you a religious man, Mrs. Spec?"
No, I'm not.
Brendan Lasky is here,
Hello, Brendan Lasky.
and they say, "I like the old cars in 1980s. Are the best for muscle cars. I like the 1983 Ford Mustang."
Well, if you're talking about Mexican cars, then yes, because there was no smog equipment to hold them back. So you have lighter bodies and you have the same engines that were in the heavier early models.
Will the drill is here.
Hello, Will.
Brendan Lasky says, "Nice Ram truck."
Yeah, I should have been on the way to deliver it, but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Says, "Thank you for the warm welcome." No problem. Brendan says, "Thank you." Trouble says, "I like Dickens cider Thunderbird. We
I
don't
don't know
have
the
many
difference.
different. Yeah, it's a brand, I guess. We don't have many different ciders here, unfortunately. I had one that I used to like really like well for my. It was a white cider vinegar with my salads, and they stopped selling it, of course.
Of course.
Your shaman says, "Jesus weekend, no zombies." Mm. Mark Soe says the Monday after Easter is referred here as Easter Monday. Brian says everyone like old pickup trucks.
Yeah, they are very popular here. It's really hard to get one out of the hands of a Mexican.
It's awesome. Joshua says we get the 90% lean beef.
Sometimes that tastes really weird to me. It depends who's grinding it, but sometimes it tastes really weird to me.
Marcel says Orlondi Saint in French.
Oh,
Brennan says hi. Brennan says I like the 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback GTA.
the automatic.
He says yes.
Mm-hmm.
Willitrell says lots of Moper guys wish the Ram Charger was still made here.
Or made again.
Brennan says I was the biggest fan of all about muscle cars.
Have you ever had any? What 67 Ford are you talking about in your name? The Mustang?
Hi.
Nobody asked you, Kat. I am not eating, and she's not going to give you anything.
Paco Alfa's here.
Hola, Paco Alpha.
Paco.
Paco Alpha.
Mm, Brennan says, nice Volkswagen Beetle. Paco says, hola amigos, llegando un poco tarde, pero ya andamos aquí. Gracias por venir. Jennifer says, my wife was looking through your website and is like, I really like this blue one. She was looking at the blue bedliner one. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I looked at that Thunderbird, and what I missed in the because it says it has a new battery, it has new distributor, it has new this, new that, but before that it says needs engine work, like it needs an engine. They put all this new stuff on an engine, but the engine's no good. So I could contact them and say, what are you talking about? Because we could rebuild the engine here like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't cost very much, and we do have the machine shops and everything. This is like I'm going to say the 1970s here, that all the mom and pop shops are still open. You could get anything you need. um, I had a water pump rebuilt. He put the new bearing in. He made the water pump on a 69 Dodge Dart brand new, and it was like $35 to do that, parts and labor. So that's the kind of stuff that we can do here. Rebuilding an engine is no problem here. I think I spent $500 on my slant six and a white Dart when it bent the push rods and everything when I bought it. Engine was all taken apart, all new parts put in. I think it ended up being like $500 to fix that engine.
How much did you spend on was it the Fairmont that we were working while in Guadalajara?
What?
It was it no, it was the Valiant,
Yeah, the Valiant.
the white Valiant.
Oh, the radiator.
Yeah.
The radiator was this car had a 3-row radiator, and the radiator shop charged, I think it was around $100 to rod and repair the radiator, replace the belts, new thermostat housing, and yeah, it was about $100 for all that work. And we drove that thing over. We drove it about almost 2,000 kilometers to the border, and the temperature gauge never got off the first mark. So yeah, they do really good work here, because that's all they do.
Yeah.
The government didn't shut anybody down here.
Okay. Sorry. Brennan says, but I like it. I like it. Sorry, but I like the cars in the 1960s of my favorite by Ford Mustang in the 1970s.
70s, yeah.
He said yes. And so says, are we going to see any pictures of the Aston 311?
That was last week. I don't have that. Matter of fact, I saved that announcement because I'm going to offer it to a guy that has a Datsun museum in California. It may be right up his alley. I'm just not sure if it has original taillights on it. I don't know. I'm not sure what taillights are supposed to be on that truck. I've never seen one before, but it has some kind of thing on there.
Bernard says, I know everybody else who likes it too. A 1988 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am A.
Now that was a nice car.
Of course, they can restore and make it brand new again.
I was working at a Chevy dealer, and we owned a Pontiac store when that '88 Pontiac was brand new. So I was able to touch them and everything when they were new. Used, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd want one.
Danny Boyd is here.
Danny Boyd, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bernard says, my favorite is 1969 Dodge Charger RT.
Everybody likes the Charger, which is probably why I don't.
Thunderbird says, I also really like those Ford wagons.
What wagons, Thunderbird? The full size, the country Squires and country sedans?
Tripoli says, how much in pesos?
All of them. What are you asking about?
We're talking about too many things, darling. You have to be specific.
Yeah.
Brennan says, hope they just call me. I got to go now. I'll see you. Bye. Can you tell me how to go to workshop? And thank you to show me a video. Got to go. Bye. Okay, Brennan. Thank you for being here. Dan says, Tiger Woods has been upside down in more cars than there are World Trip now.
Yep.
Thunderbird says, hello, Dean.
Tiger Woods needs a damn driver.
Chevrolet says, you can't sell it to that guy Mexican. Chevrolet says he doesn't deserve it.
Well, he's not in the mix anymore. I've got a guy that sent me a big list, and I gave him a bunch of prices on Ram Chargers, And if I don't answer him, he's like, "Well, did you hear anything?" So he's real anxious to buy one, but he said it was too much for a manual. What he doesn't realize is the manual is worth more than the automatics and even the fully loaded one because they're so rare, and especially one like that black one that has like 60,000 miles on it, and the only thing that has on it is a scratch on the right side that I seem to remember some kind of product that you rub it on the scratch and it kind of like melts the surrounding paint into the scratch so it doesn't look like there's a scratch there anymore. I seem to remember a product like that, but that's the only thing that truck needs. It needs nothing else and maybe a set of license plates. That's about it.
Thunderbird says, yeah, the full size Squires. Although I feel like the B100s will be easier to find parts because they are essentially a Ford truck.
Yes, they are. Apart from the rear door handle, and each conversion company used their own door handle. It's more utilitarian. It's not like it was a Ford part or anything. So whatever you put on there would be correct.
Fernando's was tiger with some beer. I'm having naranjada. What do you call naranjada? It's not orange juice.
It's an orange drink.
It's like orange juice with water.
Yeah, it's an orange drink.
Yeah.
She squeezed some oranges in a cup and put some water in it.
Yeah, it was really good.
So we can call that juice because it does have real oranges.
Yes. So says Tiger needs to quit doing whatever he's doing to keep getting into accidents. Grow up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dan says, how the heck do you roll 3 different cars or 2?
Well, Stray Bullet, some guy on Fox News was explaining that Tiger Woods has had a lot of surgeries on his back, on his legs, on all kinds of stuff, and the doctors may have put him on the painkillers, but then he makes the decision to go and drive the vehicle. So yeah, that's not good. Are you guys looking at this truck that's on the screen? I showed this truck yesterday too. 2026 Ram 1200. It's a 4-cylinder under the hood. I think it's a 5 or 6-speed manual transmission. Room for 5 people in there because it's a 4-door pickup truck, and the price is about $20,000 US. I think that truck would sell like crazy over there because this is what they want, a base model truck, like the Toyota Hilux. This happens to be a Chinese truck, but what can you ask for in a truck? Of course it has air conditioning. They all have air conditioning these days. But this is the truck that they sell here. The smaller one is even cheaper. It's like $15,000 for the Ram 700, but nobody wants that. You don't want a Fiat.
Dan says, I was in a checker, of all things, which almost rolled, but the back door popped open just in time and stopped it from going over.
So the door got twisted?
Dan says, baby Ram.
I think it's an adolescent Ram. The baby one is the 700.
Triple says, who built it?
Chris told me that it's basically a Peugeot something. Peugeot? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peugeot truck that's made in China.
Joshua says that's dirt cheap for a new vehicle.
Right, and it gets good mileage because it's 4-cylinder stick shift. It's got enough options, and it's big enough. It's not the smallest one. It's a decent sized truck for work. Because isn't that what everybody wants for work? Mm-hmm. A $20,000 truck so they could beat it up and go on to the next one.
So what says, is there a parts source here?
For what?
Parts source for the truck?
Yeah, that we could get parts for anything. I'm sure. We have local places here. Like there's an old man that owns a Volkswagen place that you could get anything for a Beetle. Even the.
I just noticed you're covered in dirt.
I am not covered in dirt.
Your elbow's dirty.
So what? I was outside cleaning the backyard.
Rolling around.
There's an old man that owns a Volkswagen place. Everybody in town knows him. Anybody. All the mechanics know him. You go in there, say, hey, I need an alternator, I need a belt, I need this, I need that. And he brings everything out. You walk out, and it's not a huge price, not like AutoZone or O'Reilly or anything like that. Yeah, for some reason, somebody was mentioning that the base model Ram truck you could get in the U.S. right now is $40,000 for a work truck. That would buy 2 of these. Somebody put their registration card in there for the Cadillac. Come on.
Sorry, I was looking for a gift. The number says, "What's this black car here?"
It's a Cadillac
The number says, "You could buy three of them."
for what they want for a new truck.
Sirander says, "We want a truck, not a 60,000 fancy wagon with an overly complicated, overstressed engine. Simple, reliable truck."
Right. But they're not going to sell the Chinese truck in the U.S. because it's a Chinese truck.
Dan says, "The corner of the door got folded over, but it somehow was still able to close. It was also in that car when the hood flew off at 55 miles per hour."
Sounds like somebody didn't take care of their car very well.
So Willie says, "No, the Ram."
Right. I'm saying for the price of a truck over there, you could buy multiples of them here. Salud.
Thank you.
You could buy multiples of that one here, but it's still a Chinese vehicle, backed by Ram. Hopefully they have the parts for them here. I know that's what you were asking, Stray Bullet, because it is a Chinese vehicle. The Chinese companies like MG and BYD and stuff, they have a problem bringing in the parts, but I don't think Ram would have a problem bringing them in.
Uno's here,
Hello, no.
and they say, "Cha cha cha, cucaracha." No, you're banned. You're banned. I hate cucarachas. I hate them with a passion. They are my nemesis. You're banned. Fernando says, "How much is the 55 Chevy?"
I didn't look at the price, honestly. I just wanted to show you guys some different things that I had shown you before, like this MG. It's not a car that I would buy or even want to touch, but it's an interesting looking car. Dice salud.
Thank you. Struggle says, "Maybe we could start building the Chinese Peugeot here in America."
Maybe Stellantis could do that, but it wouldn't be $20,000 because it doesn't have all of the nanny stuff on it that is required in the U.S. Doesn't have the crash stuff. It has, there's trade-offs. If they're talking about that little slate piece of garbage that's going to come out, that's going to be 25,000, and then you're going to add a whole bunch of stuff on it. It's going to be the same as another truck anyway. The Ram 1200 would be much better.
The number says, "My mom has a dream to have a car from 1956, her birth year. Might be able to get one from you folks eventually."
Yeah, there's the Sunliner is here, the Ford Sunliner, 56 Ford.
Dan says,
That's something I would have to really check out because those cars are, what are they now, 50, 60, 70 years old? This one here, 70 years old, and they have been through the ringer here.
70 years young, darling.
No.
You're talking about Dan's mom. I'm sorry, Thunderbird's mom.
No, I'm talking about the car.
Yeah, and Thunderbird's mom.
Well, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the car. The car is 70 years old.
Dan says 1958 steering wheel. Fernando says, "Love the MGA." Orgula says, "If I had a 55 Chevy, it would be black and black only."
No two-tone.
Tribble says, "That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. A guy in town has a sort of beat up 50s MG with a V8 swap."
Well, that means it runs.
The number says, "Oh wow, there we go."
I mean, Buff was in here, and he doesn't like the Continental kit, and all that, but the whole car goes like that. I don't know if this is a U.S. car because they didn't sell convertibles in Mexico. You're lucky to get a two-door anything, let alone top down. But I much prefer stock wheels and hubcaps and stuff. Yeah, Dan, that steering wheel, you're going to see that in a few cars here, that it just happens to be the steering wheel that they find in a junkyard and they put on there. Because when the big steering wheels in these, go bad and they start to fall apart, there's nobody that knows how to put them back together.
Thunderbird says, "What a beauty. Probably selling for like 20,000 USD."
I'd have to look at the price, but I don't think it was that much. But then you have to add in the the travel and the transport, and then to get it to the border. I'm not sure what state it's in either. It had old license plates from Mexico City.
Dan says, those skirts. Are you okay, Dan? Are you blushing?
On the car, he means.
Yeah. Is he
Mhm.
blushing?
You
Joshuaman says, take the tire off that back bumper and you could
you could
sit on
sit
it.
on it anyway. You sit beside the tire. You could lounge back there.
Dan says, ugly. Hey, hell? What?
HEI,
What is it? Yeah.
high energy ignition.
I don't know what that is.
That's a General Motors electronic ignition that people put on things because they want their cars to start.
Um, Regula says, all black like Bob Falfas 55.
I got the reference, Barry. I know. But was that a Bel Air or was that a 210 or a 150 without the chrome?
Dan says to Barracuda, but I want my wheel wells uncut on the quarters.
Yeah, well, you just take the fender skirts off there. The wheel wells are fine underneath there. I'm sure they don't cut the wheel wells to put fender skirts on. The fender skirts go over the existing metal. But that's another thing. You'd have to check it for rust and everything underneath because it may have been patched. Something that's 70 years old.
Joshua says, I'm not kidding. That's not a bumper. That's a bench.
Yeah, that's what a lot of 50s cars had. That you gotta have the spare tire somewhere. Might as well throw it out back. How do you put gas in the car though? Because that's where the gas is. That where the gas is? Maybe it's on the
You're
side.
asking me?
No. It's a rhetorical question. I'm looking at you and thinking it may have been on the side. A lot of these Fords had it on the side.
He literally turned his head towards me, and I was like, "Wait, is he asking me?"
No, I'm not asking you because I know you don't know anything. I had to turn my eyes away from what's on the screen so I could think about the car.
Okay. Simandro says, "If I had money, I would build a sports car on the Corvette chassis with the '55 Chevy styling, like Ford did with the Thunderbird."
Oh no. Are you talking about people taking Thunderbirds, the newer Thunderbird, and making it look like the old Thunderbird? That's not good. And by the way, Steven, that Town and Country station wagon sold to somebody else.
No.
Yeah, so I guess it was not an outrageous price they were asking because somebody did buy the car. That has air conditioning.
So it says, "We used to just have the spare tire in the trunk."
Yeah, but people like to show off those, more extravagant 50s cars, dress them up with all of the J.C. Whitney stuff they could do. And it's not easy to put a Continental kit on there. You have to have the whole plate back there that's shaped like the rear bumper, because different cars it would be different, and put the tire there and then have the bumper.
I have a random question for you.
What?
Did you ever buy things from a catalog and not a car's parts catalog?
No.
You never bought from a catalog?
Why would you buy from a catalog if it wasn't a car part? Anything else, you want to go into a store and see it.
Fair. Surrender says, no, all period parts.
Oh, okay.
Dan says, Y block.
Y block.
Surrender says, C1 chassis.
You would take a C1 chassis and build some other kind of car? You'd be losing a lot of money. Because the C1 chassis would be worth a lot of money. Now, this is my kind of car because it's so over the top that it's crazy. The 58 Buick.
Well, it says, "Ooh, look at my spare tire."
Yeah, and in this particular case, they put like an early 80s wire wheel cover on it, which would be the first thing that would have to go. The car needs stock wheels and tires and white wall tires. Stock wheels and white wall tires.
Why white wall?
Because it's a 50s car.
Did
Whatever,
it came with
whatever,
white walls?
yes, whatever size white wall. That's a top of the line convertible, the Sunliner. Whatever size white wall came in that year is the white wall that goes back on the car. Some of them, Stray Bullet, even had a cover over the spare tire, like you see on the back of Jeeps and stuff. Some of them even had that. Gotta have all the accessories. But if that car is in Mexico City, I have a transport company that can bring it up to my door here. But I'm not sure if I would be able to drive the car. I mean, to put the car on a trailer and take it to the border. I'm not sure that would be possible.
That says nail head. I don't know what that means.
That's the engine that's in the Buick in the backyard
Mm-hmm.
because the valves look like nails. They're really small.
I only know about the glass packs. Triple says my 91 F250 still has the original spare tire, never been used.
You want to hear a story about that, Stray Bullet?
Wait, first say hi to Bob the Campo.
Hello, Buff. You're fine. You can come in whenever you want to. Stray Bullet, we told this story yesterday, I think, or last week, when Mrs. Spec and I, her sister, my son, and our really, really large black dog went to the river, which isn't that far away. You get on the highway. I don't have the zapper with me. Mosquito right in front of us. And just before we got to where the entrance to the river was, one of the tires blew on my Durango. And I had big off-road tires on them. Not huge, but big. Bigger than stock. So pulled to the side, jacked it up,
Go get the zapper.
jacked it up.
Hold on, he'll be right back. He's not gonna stop until he gets the mosquito. He's like a Jack Russell. Yeah, yeah.
We jacked up the truck. I hit it. Didn't zap.
Good job.
Yes, I fully charged it. So the tire blew. We put the spare on, went down, did what we did, had fun, came back up, crossed the highway. We're coming back. Another tire blew. And I don't remember if it was the spare that I put on that had been under the truck for 10 years or so. So it's not a good thing that you have the original spare underneath the truck if you happen to need it, because it's not going to get you very far. Okay, start reading.
Thunderbird says, "Oh wow, I can see Stray Bullets coming now."
Oh yeah,
Josh says, "Interesting Datsun."
very interesting. I've never seen one of those before.
Dan says, "I couldn't see the road because the sun was in my eyes." Stray Bullet says, "Hi Thunderbird, you missed some of my best material." Dan says, "Oh, it's Cristo." Stray Bullet says, "Down and give us 20 bucks." Steve Andrews says, "Peugeot, ooh la la."
His down and give you 20 years are way over.
And Dan says, "Mopar, scoop on that Chevy truck."
Anything is possible. Parts is parts, Dan. Whatever people can get their hands on, that's what they use.
Mm. Dan says, "My spare is under my truck and it's 8 years old."
But your truck is more than 8 years old, so it's not original.
Wait, you only told that story halfway.
I did not. I said we crossed the highway and the other tire blew. Another tire blew that same night, but I don't remember if it was the tire that we put on.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember that. Could have been.
Fernando says, "Columbo's car was a Peugeot 403."
Was it a 403?
The number says, "I am fixing up a ratty dump trailer and will hopefully sell it with profit to put towards a Mexican import. We will see. My company screwed me over and have not gotten the bonus I was promised."
That seems to be a common theme.
Mm-hmm. Trouble says, "I kind of regret not rotating it though through the tire cycle years ago."
Yeah.
Fernando says, "Colombo."
Colombo. With a U. I dare you to come back, Mosquito.
They like to hang out on the wire.
I know, that's what I was just looking at. I know they.
Jay's here.
Jay's here. How could Jay be here? It's so late there.
They say, hello everyone, I should be sleeping.
Yeah, and why aren't you sleeping or doing your own live? He put up a live. I couldn't sleep, so I went into the garage and he did a live.
You should be doing that. I couldn't sleep, so join me while I make my puzzle.
No, I'd be in front of the computer and no, that wouldn't work.
Why not? People will be
Because I don't
yelling at
have
you.
because
That
I
piece,
don't.
no, that piece, no, no, that one, that
No, I would not do that.
one. Yes.
Dare you to come back, Mosquito. I dare you. Of course, I still may have gotten him without the zap,
Yep.
without the sound effect. Sunbeam Alpine, which means it has the 4-cylinder, not the Tiger that has the 8-cylinder.
Fernando says Studley Baker.
Goody.
Studley.
There's an L in there?
Yep.
See, everything's blurry to me.
I've been reading my new book, and it's about how President Snow came into power on the Hunger Games. Trevor says, I busted my butt last year and was supposed to get a percentage of profit from the division I managed, but that hasn't happened. I'm upset and seriously considering quitting and going into cars full time.
Mm. You have to go into cars full time. You need a big bankroll, though.
Joel says it has a little flathead.
Yeah, the Studebaker. I can't imagine trying to get into this Sunbeam. My back is hurting just sitting on this chair. Cannot imagine trying to fold myself into that car. It's a nice condition, though.
Have you sit in this chair? It's much more comfortable.
I have one of my own.
Yeah, but well, never mind.
Weird the cars you see that came into Mexico at some time in their life and have spent their lives in Mexico. There was a concourse car show in Estado de Mexico. It's a place called Whiskey Lucan. And the best of the best of the best show up there. I mean, they're 100-point cars that people bring out there. It's crazy the cars that are actually in Mexico. You never see them because they only come out for that one show in the year. But this is more my kind of car. If you're gonna have a wagon, you might as well have little fins on the back fenders.
Trevor says, oh, I like that sedan.
What sedan?
I don't know. Fergus says, actually,
Are they looking at what we're looking at, or are you behind Thunderbird?
No, they're looking at.
Are you click the live on the screen? Click the thing that says live, because before this car was a little convertible or roadster.
Fergus says, I actually like wait, I actually like radius rear fenders on a 55. I like them original too.
I wouldn't buy one that had radius fenders because you don't know who did it. You don't know if they measured. You don't know anything. Once you cut into the metal there, then you're exposing it to rust. Right. And you don't know if they prepared the metal and everything. I wouldn't go near one of those. And it doesn't look right anyway. A 55 Chevy does not need huge wheels and wide tires in the back. It just doesn't. Doesn't have enough power to do anything.
Have you tried doing that live on TikTok?
Oh, the wagon. Why would Tex call it a sedan?
Why would it be called a sedan?
I don't know.
So Andrew says, yeah, looks better, but I would use the Nomad rear wheels. Triple says, that one has a Chevy pickup steering wheel.
Mix and match steering wheels in Mexico.
Yep.
My 83 AMC Spirit sitting out front It has an '84 Monte Carlo steering wheel on it, the wood steering wheel that came stock on the '84 Monte Carlos. I'm gonna keep it in there. That's the way the car came. I know who has the original steering wheel, but I'm not giving this one up. It's worth a lot more. That's the least offensive part of that car.
You have a curly eyebrow. Remind me to pluck it. What's Finnegan? Finnegan would beg to differ.
I don't really care what Finnegan would think.
What's Finnegan? Costa Campos says a country sedan.
Yes, it's a country sedan.
I thought it was a wagon.
It's Ford called it a country sedan to identify it as the midline. It's not a ranch wagon. It's not a country squire.
Robert says at least it has a steering wheel.
Of course.
Surrender says Delphine Merc.
I was subscribed to Finnegan, but when he got that nice '61 Cadillac and destroyed it, that was it. Not watching him anymore.
Your heart got crushed.
And he doesn't want people watching him. He's not interested in having viewers.
Oh.
At this point in life, in 2026, you do not destroy one of the nicest '61 Cadillacs around. Just to have a little toy.
Right, this is with a 454 or 427. There's enough power.
Yeah, but why would you put that in there? There's no. It's a '55 Chevy. I mean, unless you're going to make a drag car and keep it off the street. Somebody answering my questions. I asked a whole lot of questions of people. I need miles on the Ram Chargers. I need to know about I need so many people I ask questions. Trying to get them to answer is a different thing.
Blasphemy.
Yep.
So it says I can't stand channels who destroy classic cars, just reviews.
Well, he modified it, changed this, changed that. '61 was a special year because it was lower production than every other year. The factory had a strike for a few months, so they made less cars than any other year. It's not a common car to find, especially in that condition, and he didn't care. He doesn't care about cars. He only cares about himself.
Chipotle says there are so many of those big automotive-based channels. I don't have time for it all.
Nope.
Surrender says, yeah, I wasn't crazy about the '61 Caddy build either.
No reason for it. My buddy, the guy that sold me my first hearse, he got in trade a '61 Miller Meteor from Tonopah, Nevada. For some reason, it had a sunroof over the casket compartment. You know, the small one that people would install in the '70s. I don't know why, but one day he needed to go to Las Vegas. We were in California, go to Las Vegas to pick up the brother of his. It was the brother of a guy he worked with because he had died in Vegas, and he knew he had an aneurysm and he was going to die, so he went to Vegas to party it up, and he ended up dying, and so we had to go pick him up in the casket and everything and bring him back to California for the funeral. So I drove the whole way, that '61 Miller Meteor in black, all the way to Las Vegas. We spent the day there, went to the casino for lunch, came back, loaded up the casket in the back, which means you cannot see anything out of the back of the car, raced back to California because I had something else to do at night in the nighttime. No license plate on this car or anything. We raced there and raced back. No license plate, no nothing. He rented out. What he did was he sold the car to a movie company that made the deal that you sell us the car, we'll restore it, we'll use it in the movie, and we'll sell it back to you at a discount. He said, fine, so I'll get back a really nice car. Well, when they used the car, the driver accidentally went over a cliff and broke the chassis in 4 places and totally destroyed the car. But it was their car because he actually sold them the car. It was just they were gonna sell it back to him after they were done, but they destroyed the whole car. And again, being a 61, it was rarer than any other of the hearses that he had. I mean, all hearses were rare, but it's really hard to find a 61.
Fernando says Gran Turismo Hawk. I have wanted one of these for 45 years.
Well, here's one right here. I think it's a U.S. car, though. It was not a Mexican car, that's for sure.
Thunderbird says, I feel bad enough hot rodding my Thunderbird, but on the other hand, at least I rescued it from a crazy person.
Well, there's a 67 Thunderbird coming up when we get to the 67's Thunderbird, so you'll get to see a really nice one in Meadowlark Yellow. And I know that color because the car that I grew up in as a kid, a 68 Ford Galaxy two-door hardtop, was also Meadowlark Yellow.
Still sounds like metal. It sounds like you're saying metal.
No.
Trevor says, why would a heavy 60s Cadillac, why build a heavy 60s Cadillac into anything?
That's what he wanted to do. I mean, he did the 55 Chevy too. That's a very heavy car. He put the Hemi in that one.
Trevor says, as in person who had it before I bought it, he had hacked things up a bit.
Oh, that's not good to have a 68 Thunderbird that's hacked.
Trevor says, no license plate and a coffin in the back.
Yeah, and running fast in the desert to get back. I mean, we were doing probably 100, 110 out there in the desert to get back. Wasn't thinking about anything. They don't stop hearses. They never did.
They did too.
I never got stopped in one time in my hearse.
They stopped your friend.
Well, he wasn't in a hearse. He was in a first call car. Oh. And that was a female cop, so that tells you all you need to know.
Samantha says, my first T-Bird was a Hot Wheels 68 custom T-Bird in Aqua. Love Aqua.
Oh, yeah, me too. I'm going to be painting the 74 Dart we have, and it's probably going to be the same color as the one that you're going to see here.
Be right back, hold on. He has to go take his bill, or he'll forget.
Bill time.
That's a nice Mustang. Oh, or Thunderbird. We're seeing a Thunderbird. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a Thunderbird. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back. Pills are taken.
Thunderbird says that's funny about the hearse. I'm gonna say my Thunderbird, I think it's one built on white.
It wasn't the light green. Mine was the light green. I don't know the exact color though.
Double says I stopped occasionally watching Whistling Diesel when he destroyed that poor little Model T. That bothered me. Ironically, I still laugh about when he caught the Ferrari on fire. Steven Andrew says that's a 64 T-Bird.
No, it is not, Steven. Look at the tail lights.
Steven Andrew says nose anyway.
That's a 64 nose on a 66 Thunderbird. I'd have to compare them, but the tail lights are definitely 66. It's advertised as a 64. Is it possible they put 66 tail lights on a 64 Thunderbird? Because it's the one tail light all the way across.
Thunderbird says, "Oh yes, I love that mint green color." Pergola says, "Speaking of wrecking cars, there are so many movies and TV shows that have destroyed 68 to 70 Chargers. It's sad."
Not to me, it isn't.
You're so rude.
If they destroy all of them, that'd be fine for me.
Rude. Because you don't like them doesn't mean it's sad. Fernando says rear bumper looks 68, 66.
It is 66. The taillights are 66. I'd have to look at the VIN though. But it looks like with all the stickers on the windshield, the car has been here since the 70s at least. Those stickers there. 72, 71. Yeah, it's been here a long, long time. And I'd be interested to see who the original owner of the car was in Mexico, whoever imported it, because they were a very, very important person. Could have been one of the president at the time. They brought in cars like this for for themselves.
Robert says whistling diesel is everything that's wrong with car culture.
I've, ne- I've I've never seen one of his videos, and I don't plan to.
Fernando says yep. Fernando says 66 had a bumper more like a Mustang. Robert says, well, at least nowadays, most of the chargers in movies are actually just panels on a Crown Vic.
Now, if you guys recognize this car, it's a Dodge Coronet 1967. It has the Charger flip-around grille from the factory, and in the rear, it has the Coronet RT tail lights. This is how the car came from the factory in Mexico. Yep.
Regular says, what's with the Charger attitude?
I don't like those Chargers. I don't like any cars that the media tells me that I should like. I see nothing special about a two-door Coronet. This is an interesting car though, and it does have a V8 under the hood, even though you can't see it, because there's an emblem on the fender that says it's a V8, 318 V8, 270 horsepower.
KJ Kylie's here.
Hello, KJ Kylie. Welcome. Got a few 67s in here. I think the Thunderbird's next. Thunderbird next to this little car. Two different worlds. Antique auto plates from Morelos. I can change his name if I want to.
No. Tavo's here.
Hello, Tavo.
This hola, just dropping in to say hola.
Hola.
The number says, for me, my favorite car is the one I can afford.
Yeah.
Fair. Very fair. Barracuda says, be good if they were fakes in the Dukes of Hazzard.
They weren't old cars at the time, and there was plenty of them around. So they didn't think about anything.
Yeah, this is Carmen Gia.
Mm-hmm. Carmen Gia.
Did your new pictures show up or not? Not yet.
New pictures of what?
The new pictures that you put in, that I put in.
No, that's 1984.
Okay. So, but it says Mexico built Carmen Gias?
No, this is imported. Definitely not from here.
If it would have built Carmen Gias, it would have been Carmen with a C and an E.
Carmen is a city in Germany, I think.
Also here, see the other Carmen?
And Stephen, there's two N's in Carmen. Karmann. It says right there in the emblem. Two of them. That is a very different engine than what they put in Mexico.
Barracuda says, come on, the Charger is an exceptionally beautiful car. Barracuda didn't like your message. See? See?
Mm-hmm. Not everybody will.
I told you.
I just don't think it's anything special.
Well, but yeah, but stop bullying it, though.
I'll take the 66 Pontiac Grand Prix in black over any Charger from 68 to 70. Much more beautiful car.
You're taking a shower with me tonight. You're dirty.
No.
You are dirty.
I'm fine.
Uh-huh. Steven says, N.
Gotta add that extra N.
And that was says, used to see quite a few Carmen Gias running around down here.
This one's not stock, obviously. The seats are racing seats, and it has the over-the-shoulder seat belts.
Robert says, I like Chargers, but they may be overrated, just like the Mustangs. I actually don't like Mustangs. Barracuda says, I wouldn't have willingly wrecked a Charger at any point in time.
Well, if you were in, if when the car was, what was it, 75? When did they start filming the show? Like 77 or so. The car was 8 years old. Why wouldn't anybody take a 8 year old car now and wreck it? An 8 year old Dodge Charger. Nobody cares.
KJ Kylie said that Carmen Gia was actually a copy of Chrysler show car from the 50s. Check it out on the internet.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times, but Volkswagen made the money on it.
I remember one time you gave me a piece of paper, a pen, and your books of cars. And you told me, look at this, this book of cars. Tell me which cars you like, just to give you an idea
Hmm.
of what my.
And what did you pick?
So many.
No, you picked the Mercury Cougar.
Yeah, but like I picked so many, and you were like amazed that I would like so many different cars.
She picked the 69 or 70 Mercury Cougar as the one
69.
that she would want.
Yeah, 69 Cougar.
69.
But I was picking like so many like random cars.
Barracuda likes a 67, 68 Mustang Fastback, especially in dark green. Is that because of the movie, Barry?
Oh,
One with Steve McQueen.
Triple says, I can't remember the last time I saw Carmen Gia on the road.
They're worth too much for people to be driving around now.
Remember says, do you New Zealanders know the song Waltzing Matilda, or is that an Aussie song? Triple says, the Duke Boys didn't care.
Nope, and the Duke boys didn't do it anyway. They were stunt guys doing it.
That was says, them fighting words to the bird.
Touched a nerve, Tavo. Here's the yellow Thunderbird 4-door. Thunderbird. Suicide doors.
Mm.
The clown wheels have to go. But the rest of the car, I don't know why he keeps having his headlight covers up, because in the first picture the headlight covers were down. Probably not, the system is probably not working, so he just leaves them up. But every car like that I bought, that's the first thing I got working. Was I bought a roll of vacuum hose, and I repiped the whole thing to make sure it worked.
Pergola says, we know it, but that's just Australia's song. Number says, Tavo is it a New Zealand song? Forgive my ignorance. The number says, it's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. I sing it now and then. Pergola says, I love green anyway.
Oh, it still has the 67 steering wheel, which is good. I love those. People hate them, but I love them. It makes the 67 unique.
Tavo says, it's purely Aussie, Thunderbird. More like a New Zealander would take offense. Even then, maybe not. This is a really nice car. I like the interior.
Somebody did a really nice job on it.
Yeah. It's got a six-pack.
You don't want to know the price, though. We could buy a house for what he wants for that car.
No.
But that's not even the most expensive. This was 800,000 pesos he wants. There's a black one. He wants 1.4 million for it.
I know.
A 68 Thunderbird, 1.4 million pesos.
Why don't we have cars expensive like that so we can sell them? You probably wouldn't sell them. Strawberry says it would be the equivalent of someone in the year 2070 watching a video of what people were doing to Hellcats today.
Yep.
Rando says, I am curious why the Mustang wasn't sold in Australia. You did get much cooler Falcons than we got though. PJ Cali says, I remember waltzing Matilda's song from the early 60s in Cali. Lol, showing my age.
Where'd you live in California, KJ? I doubt you're living there now. Nobody wants to. We went through this yesterday, but did you see the price on this one? This Bronco? Can you roll that back to the first picture of this green thing? $2.17 million pesos. he wants
How?
for this truck.
That's the price of a house.
Yep. Problem.
Double says to Sir Andrews, we did get a very small number of early Mustangs, and they revamped since the early 2000s. Are readily on sale here. KJ Kali says, I was born in Auckland.
I'm glad you got out of there.
Bargota says, I noticed there are a lot of Australian eucalyptus trees in California.
How do you know they're Australian eucalyptus trees?
Mm.
I've never had an interest in these early Broncos. Never bought one. Never wanted to. The speedometer's out of a Ford Econoline, so they didn't even give it anything special. I just don't understand why people like them so much and pay so much money for them. It shocks me. 2.17 million pesos is a lot of money. It was figured out at $120,000 for this Bronco. Just the price of the truck.
Brenda says, okay, but did it catch on? Sporty Falcon rule? KJ Kali says, eucalyptus trees are a big fire hazard in Cali. Trevor says, cause they all listen to Walter Matilda.
Steven, a lot of the cars that were sold in Australia were four doors. They really like four doors there. Here's another genius that wants 1.32 million pesos for a Dodge Challenger.
I think I've lost the plot. Regular says, there's a guy in my town with a late model Mustang. It sounds hot.
They do sound good until they crash.
Someone says, you guys got some more 2001 Mustang Cobra style. Surrender says, my brother had one in the 90s. In the 90s? In the 90s when they were cheap.
Yeah. I mean, it is a manual.
Number says, how much is that in US dollars for that charger?
It's a Challenger.
Fine, but how much is it in dollars?
I don't know.
How much is it? How much
Figure it at 18 right now.
So how much was it?
Was it 1.7?
1.7.
So that's about $100,000. About $100,000, Thunderbird.
1.7 million? 1,700,000?
Yeah. Or 1,000,003. I don't know. Something
times
like that.
18?
Divided by?
Divided by 18?
Yes.
Divided by 18?
Mm-hmm. $94,444. People are crazy on their prices on these cars.
Pericoda says, is that the Auckland that has the Roadster show?
Does anybody still have a show there?
Triple says, it looks like it should be a Charger.
Well, the orange was the popular color for the Challenger. A lot of Challengers are.
Trevor says, holy crap, you can get an original car for that.
Well, this is an original car. He had it imported some time ago. It's a manual. It is a 4-speed manual. And it's got options that people want, but it's a huge number. It's crazy. I don't want that kind of money running through my account to buy one car. That'll cause a lot of red flags. Too much.
We haven't been to a car show in a while.
There hasn't been any car shows in years.
Trevor says, see, there are only certain cars that actually make sense to import. Most only cars that we don't have here.
Right. To fill the market or create a market for the cars.
JJ says, did you guys see Brian Beeler's show on 68 to 70s Chargers? Outrageous prices for junk. Jola says, it is, or was, Barry.
People can ask anything they want to, but they're going to keep it. They're going to keep their vehicles. I mean, I admit this Challenger is in nice condition, but I'm not a fan of Challengers. I had a what was it, a 72 or 73 Barracuda. It was just a base model 318. I sat in the car, I could barely see over the steering wheel. Just not a comfortable car to drive. Just not.
What is that?
I wonder how much it cost him to import the car into Mexico. Of course, he's adding all of that. It's a something four barrel. Is that a big block or is that a small block? You guys probably know more than me. I can't see the number on the other side of the plate. Looks too small to be a big block. There's too much room on the side of the engine.
Tengo ansiedad.
And he's putting the odometer there like he's trying to convince you it has 71,000 original miles on a 55-year-old car. No, it does not. This car is a much better price. And it's green go.
Tengo ansiedad.
You're not reading comments.
No. Entonces, vitamin C orange or Orbit orange?
This car is missing the front turn signal lenses, but I'm sure we can get them. I don't know. It's not my car.
Chevrolet says it has a nitro bottle in the trunk. PJ Collins says, I love E-bodies.
Well, that's an E-body. And this is a B-body.
Barcuda says, in about 1974, a guy in my neighborhood imported a 73 to 74 Challenger, yellow, black vinyl roof, a rare car here. I was stunned by its beauty.
Yeah, when you don't have any of them around, yeah, sure. I would rather have this car here, the 71 Coronet wagon, than the Challenger or the Bronco for a tiny percentage of what they're asking.
100%.
And I mean tiny percentage.
Number says, I think the Volkswagen Omnibus and Bugs would sell here very well. Also, probably the B100s and wagons. But when it comes to muscle cars, you could actually get them cheaper locally.
Yeah, we don't have many muscle cars, but the Challenger that was on there, the Coronet, the orange Coronet, the guy wants a lot of money for it, so it wouldn't make any sense to send it out of the country. But nobody has ever seen a car like that in the U.S. or in Canada because nobody but Mexico put the Charger front end on them, and people would be telling you that didn't come from the factory. Somebody put that. No, that came from the factory. And we do have Dart GTSs here. There are a few that are still available.
Dan says, when I was like 8 or 9, our neighbors had a Challenger. It was plum crazy with a white vinyl top and not an RT or anything. Full wheel covers.
Yeah, I can picture the car right now and also the wheel covers that go on it.
Surrender says Dodge and Plymouth had different names for the same colors.
Yes, they were different divisions. They didn't share information. Just like in General Motors, the doors for Buick were closed. Oldsmobile couldn't see what was going on in there, and nobody could see what was going on in Pontiac.
Josh Homan says, I would as well. I'm not into the muscle cars.
No, I'm into luxury. Give me a bench seat in a station wagon. I'll drive it across the country. I mean, yes, I like driving the Dart GTS that my customer bought all the way to the border, but I'd rather have a comfortable car. Much better.
Dan says distributor was in the rear on that orange Challenger or small block.
So small block. Okay, well then he's asking a whole lot of money for what is it, a 340? A 340 Challenger? Almost $100,000 plus all the money it would take to get it back out of the country.
Regular says, and later in 1980, a guy I work with bought a maroon 1970s Challenger 318. He paid $9,999 for it,
which was a lot. Well, that's your money, right?
For the wood chip is here.
Hello, world of wood chip.
And they say you thought he was a man, but he was a muffin.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man. I have to see that movie again. I haven't seen it in a while.
What movie?
Shrek.
Oh,
That's where that comes from. Cyber says, I can't wait for the live stream on Mexican driving the Datsun 311 to California.
oh no, 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 no. To sell it to a museum, it has to be immaculate. That truck would not be driven anywhere. It'll be put on a flatbed, taken to the transport company. They put it on their truck. Try to make sure it doesn't get damaged anywhere, and then bring it to me here. Then I put it on a trailer and take it to the border.
Senator says, offer him $40,000 and a plate of enchiladas.
I don't think he would go for it.
Dan says, Tolo locos? What does that mean? I know the last word. I don't know the first word. Barracuda says, that was expensive.
Yes. In 1980, the Challengers weren't worth very much in the U.S. unless it was a very special, very, very special car. Because it wasn't too long after the gas crunch, and people still didn't want gas guzzlers.
Tolo says, what? I would drive a truck everywhere.
Yeah, but you have to buy it first. If I'm selling it to a museum, it has to be perfect for them to put it in their museum. I can't take the chance of rock chips on the front of the truck or anything. No.
World says, the Muffin Man is seated at the table in the laboratory of the Utility Muffin Research Kitchen.
Okay, so now is this a man shaped like a muffin, made of muffin, or a man that sells muffins? Take your pick.
I'm anxious.
I'll let you do the burning tonight.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Get out your frustrations.
No.
Do you have permission to do that?
I bought you. I own you.
You wouldn't let me do that to you.
Mine are sensitive. Are yours sensitive?
Yes, mine hurt.
Do they hurt?
Yes, I've got chest pain over here.
I'm sorry. Can I play with your hair?
I have a Datsun L16 SSS engine that would fit right in there. What's wrong with the engine that's in there right now, Stray Bullet? I don't know what engine's in there, or where the truck came from, or who restored it, or anything about it. This car was obviously car/truck, obviously imported into Mexico because the El Camino was not sold here when they were new. Either was the Ranchero, ironically, and it's got the new Jalisco plate on it.
Barracuda says, at the time, I was rolling over a 4-door 56 Chevy with a 327 at a car yard for 4,500. That was expensive too. I was earning 108 a week.
Yeah, that was expensive for a 56 Chevy in 1980.
Is this a picture? Is this the car?
Yeah, the El Camino.
The new car?
Huh?
The new pictures?
No.
Oh.
It was an 84 Mustang. This is a 72.
Oh.
We haven't gotten to the 80s yet. We're still in the 70s.
Mm.
Still in the 70s, everybody.
Keep your efforts on. So what it says, well, it doesn't have nearly 100 horsepower like the SSS engine Mexican.
You don't need horsepower in a little truck like that. It doesn't weigh anything. The engineers knew what they were doing. I don't know what engine's in it, though. Or if it has one. It may not. You never know. I haven't sent it to the guy at the museum yet. He may want to know more about it, maybe not. He contacted me for a Datsun Sakura, which was the 280s, the 200 SX, like the 1982 model. over in the U.S. And at one time there was one for sale that had like 17,000 kilometers on it or something. It was like a brand new car, but I couldn't find one that he wanted because it has to be absolutely perfect to be in the museum. And I said, well, you're in California, you're not going to be able to register it. He says, we don't register our cars.
Then we'll ask a question. So is an El Camino a car over a truck? I say a truck.
It's a truck. It has an open bed, but it drives like a car. So you have the best of both worlds.
Joshua says it's a truck. What does the government say though when you register
Truck.
it?
It's an open bed truck, so you have to have commercial plates on it.
Ah,
both in Mexico and in California.
Serrano says ironic considering their names.
Yes. That's why I said it was ironic. Both their names are Spanish. Somebody really did this truck up nice. Most of it is stock. That does not look like a stock stereo.
First, I just don't combine the words. What are you guys talking about? Did I miss something? I mean, yes, but
don't combine car and truck. Truck.
So what it says, I like those little El Camino cars you guys have there.
The new ones, like the Tornado, stuff like that. The Pointer. What do they call it now? Sabiero.
Did you send Uno the information about the Sabiero?
Yeah.
Joel says, I like those. Wait. Josh Roman says, so if the museum gets raided, they can't prove ownership.
Yeah, they'll have the ownership documents signed over to them, but they never take it down to California DMV to register them. I mean, they would be able to with this little Datsun truck because it was made. It's a '63 model, I think, which means they don't ever have to smog it. But the newer ones, they would not be able to do that. But of course, smogging is going to be gone very soon anyway in California. We just have to see what happens with the rules.
Robert says, Mexican Spec, are you currently working on any project cars?
I have a lot of them in the backyard, but no, I'm not working on them because all of my time is trying to sell the next car so we can get some money in here.
The other day it started raining randomly at night and I went to check it out. I was working, so on my break I went to check it out. And I was like, why aren't you out there with a rag cleaning the cars?
There wasn't enough rain. It rained just enough to move the dirt around on the hoods of the cars to make it look dirtier.
Regular says, my first car in 1981 was a 65 Valiant for 1,450.
My first car, Barry, was a 1963 Plymouth Fury, which I have sitting in the backyard here, and I paid $1,400 less than you did.
$50?
Yeah, and I had to borrow that.
There says, they've been ripping us off for decades.
Yeah, and hopefully it all comes together.
World says, thinking about a Frank Zappa song too long leaves you with more questions than answers.
Thinking about a Frank Zappa song too long, comma, leaves you with more questions than answers. Yes. Or just do what he did and smoke whatever you need to smoke so you could understand the song. You don't have to you don't have to ask the questions. The Volkswagen Thing was sold in the US only 2 years, 73, 74. But in Mexico, it was sold from the 1970 model year to the 1980 model year. And this one happens to be a 72, which is why it has the small tail lights on it. So it's a completely restored car. It's about as nice as you're going to get for a Safari. Still didn't have any action on it.
That was my first proper car was a 68. Yeah, 68 VE Valiant for $500, followed by my first Pacer, traded the VE plus 300.
I would never trade my first car, Tavo. She's mine. Always will be. Well, until I'm not here anymore.
I'm gonna put your ashes in her trunk.
She'd probably like that.
The number says our first vehicle was a 1998 F-250. Got smashed within a couple of days because I let a friend drive it. He totaled it in a drive-through. How do you total a car in a drive-through? How fast do you have to
Oh,
be
that's
going?
easy. I can tell you stories.
Oh,
Not smashed, but damaged.
so says, didn't Zappa name one of his spawns Moon Unit or something?
Yes, that's her name, Moon Unit Zappa.
The number says 3,500 in like 2014.
Hmm.
Surrender says, thinking about how Zappa named his children has the same effect. Barracuda says, I was on the road in 1979. I wanted a motorcycle before a car.
I never wanted a motorcycle, although I did have one once. It was a Honda Matic. I don't remember the year of it. Dark green. It would be worth a lot of money today, but I traded it straight across for a '58 Imperial two-door Southampton Crown. So I got a car that I wanted.
Triple says, Finnegan is buying. Hold on.
Finnegan is buying my car after I die. I know if he let him try.
He has to go through me first.
I'm gonna leave instructions to make sure he doesn't leave here ever.
Surrender says, yes, Weasel and Moon Unit.
Yeah, Dweezil.
The number says, he hit one of those concrete posts and kept going instead of backing up. Caved in the side of the truck. Tabo says to Barracuda, my first car was in '79. First road going bike was '81.
Mm-hmm.
On those years, around those years.
The guy that sold me my first hearse, I think he was married at the one time. He got married, had a son, did the whole heterosexual thing before he wasn't. And he was always into hearses, so he came home from work one day and the whole side of the hearse is crushed in, just like you said. And he goes in the house, what the hell happened? Oh, I took it through a drive-through after he told her not to. You don't take a hearse through a drive-through. It doesn't have the turning radius to get around through the drive-through. And she took out the whole side of the hearse. Ugh, very expensive to fix one of those.
Barracuda says the other way around, Tabo. Tabo says, yep. Triple says, I forgot about Duizo.
Everybody did. At least give your kids a chance in the world. You do not name them something like that. Imagine the life that kid had in school. Dweezil. Ugh. So many ways to go with that one.
I don't know.
This dart I would like to buy for myself. It's just really nice.
Triple says, I wonder how those two kids are doing.
Google their names, it'll tell you. If they're married, kids, whatever, or if they're even still around. I might put white interior in this car to go with the blue on the outside.
That was our drive-thrus are so tight a normal American car, Fury, couldn't fit. A friend had the evidence.
Mm.
Barracuda says first bike was well-worn SL 125, made into a 150cc, so I was told. Robert says I have a cousin named Stardust. My uncle was a full-blown hippie.
Why do that to the kid? Excuse you. You'd never do that to a kid. We were discussing this in, I think it was Buff's live. Name the kid a common name. Doesn't matter if there's multiples in the class. They have a common name. Because a name like that makes the kid stand out, and that's not what you want. Is it a male or female cousin, Thunderbird? Please say male.
I'm gonna guess female. Why male?
Because there's only one thing a girl named Stardust can do.
Change your name?
Oh.
You can change your name. So it says, I take my long bed, extra cab, full size truck through drive through style. So this is where because my first road going bike was a new XT 250. First one on the road in Australia. I work at the Yamaha distributor. Got mine on Friday. It was officially released the following Monday.
Hmm.
Versus female. Hey, I won.
Oh, that's too bad. Did she turn
Stop
out?
it.
Did she turn out okay? Asking for a friend.
Stop it.
It's an innocent question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has music going on outside.
Are we in the 80s?
No.
I never met her. She's on the bird.
Oh, okay.
Versus Savoy had a 1981 XT 250 and an IT 250. Tribble says people are idiots. They don't think about their children, even though they went to the same schools and saw what goes on like everyone else. And Bertha says, I bought the SL off a friend. He dropped it off to me with a fully charged battery. I found out later it needed a new starter coil.
Stator coil.
Stator? Is that a word?
Yes.
You're
Probably not.
lying to
Probably not
me.
spelled like that, but yeah.
Stator coil. Mom and dad to the rescue. Brandon says, I heard of a girl named Emma Hogg when I was a kid. Not sure I trust my sister's account.
I had a cousin named Berge. Berge. I'm like, oh, jeez. Berge and a vet, him and his sister. But their father, which was my father's brother, was a thermonuclear physicist. I'm not sure that went into his naming of the children or his wife named them. He got a divorce from her and was with another woman for a lot of years. I don't know, but he was the kind of uncle that would deliver Christmas presents or holiday presents, and they would be like learning games, something to teach me something. So never really liked him.
Remember says to Steven Andrews, I've heard that story too. We must know the same people.
He was working out in Nevada, with the bombs going off and stuff. Though he was working out there on that project. See, there was lots of mini trucks in Mexico, like this one on the screen. What is that? A Toyota? I'm looking at a station wagon here. You're looking at a Toyota. Yeah, that nose cap needs to be painted.
Shovel says, oh, where did that Hilux come from?
Why are you calling it a Hilux? It's just a Toyota pickup. They didn't have a name.
Thunderbird says Manhattan Project.
I don't know what it was. It was all of the bombs that they were, setting off in the Nevada desert.
Regular says in 1983, a modernized 81 GT 250. The CDI eventually gave up, expensive to replace. Shovel says, look at how shiny.
See, this is a country squire, which might be the perfect car for Thunderbird because I'm pretty sure it has a heater, but there's no air conditioning. So you guys live in cold weather a lot of the time, but it has no air conditioning. It's the top of the line car and no air conditioning.
Thunderbird says, yeah, this is the square I want.
Mm-hmm. Got Lincoln type wheels. and no air conditioning. See, the heater's hooked up. That's a good sign. That means the heater core is probably in good condition.
So it says, I call every Toyota truck a Hilux. I don't care.
Even tacos?
Tacos.
Tacos. We haven't had tacos in a while.
I mean, like,
You have all the
3
tortillas
weeks.
here and you never make me anything.
I asked if you wanted quesadillas.
I can't have cheese.
It's not my fault.
See, now, this dart, the aqua color on this dart is really nice. It'll be there in a second. And I would really like to paint our dart, which is the exact same car, that color. Or maybe just a little bit lighter.
The number says, I don't need AC. My wife would like it, but the AC has been broken in the Crown Vic and my truck for years, so we are used to it.
But this one doesn't even have it. It never had it from the factory. It does have a heater, which is good for you guys for winter time. But there are some nice station wagons here. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't have any heater at all. Like the one that I had a white 73 country sedan, no heater. And it's really frustrating. In a cold on a cold night, you have no defroster at all.
The number says, I don't. Oh wait, no. Mercury says, the guy I bought my BJ charger. I thought I was saying something else. The guy bought my BJ charger off, dropped it off to me, and left it running. I wonder why. It needed a new battery. Chevrolet says, even tacos and that one and that other one they have.
Well, you should always, when you're buying a vehicle, Barracuda, have some money for battery, tires, all the safety stuff, just to make sure that you know that they're, that it's safe.
And turn it off and back on.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're gonna replace the battery anyway.
Bob de Campo says headlights. Well,
yeah, that's the first thing that gets changed, Buff. None of that stuff for me.
Fernando says, dang, there's a 1968 Barracuda fastback in Vancouver. With 70,000
for $7,000.
For 7,000, about an hour and a half for me. Whimper.
There's one here that's much more expensive. Much more. It's got the 270 horsepower 318. It's got a 4-speed manual, and it's black. Black. But you're black.
Excuse you?
I'm sure they know what I'm saying.
Why is your beard so white? You have so much gray hairs on your beard.
Mrs. Spec is calling me old, and I don't appreciate it. I'd rather have gray in my beard than the red.
Okay. Seven Andrews says, dang, there is a 1968 Barracuda fastback in Vancouver. No, whatever. Already read the message.
It's light aqua. Oh, love that color on the Chryslers.
Dr. Go is here.
Hello, Dr. Go.
Dr. Go says, I remember buying a portable dash electric heater with blower motor. Uses a... What?
And don't worry about the cat.
I remember buying a portable dash electric heater with a blower motor. Uses a defroster that plugged into the cigarette lighter. It worked. The defroster damper was stuck on heat only.
Dr. Go, I think the guys in Canada are going to need a little stronger heater than that. So it's good if the car comes with a factory heater.
Robert says, lol, sounds like the scene from Anchorman. Paco Alfa says, yo estoy cenando quesadillas, pollo asado y guacamole. Ay, qué rico.
Paco, ¿un quesadilla allá tiene queso? ¿O no?
Yo digo que sí.
Ah, no.
Tiene
que responder él.
Por eso yo digo que sí. O sea, yo digo.
Don't sway his answer.
Es nada más en el centro los que dicen eso.
¿Mm?
Es nada más en el centro.
¿Qué?
Que no tienen queso.
No, en Ciudad de México no
Por
tiene
eso
queso.
en el centro.
Well, All this. They can't hear the music out there. That's good.
¿Ves? Sí, quesadilla lleva
Okay.
queso.
Okay. Got him, Senora Spec.
The number says this is the most cervical Mexican message possible.
Because here a quesadilla has cheese. In Mexico City, it does not. They call it a quesadilla, but does not have cheese. So that's why I was asking him because he lives in Tamaulipas. Does the quesadilla have cheese where he is? Because it's different all over the country. The different areas they call it the same thing, but it has different ingredients in it.
Pergola says I had a 1984 IT 200.
I had a CT70 Honda as a kid. Two wheels is not for me.
Aguanta. Dr. Go says for sure that is not only worked because the overall car heat still worked. It would never heat the whole car, and this was a '72 Chrysler Town and Country 9-passenger wagon. Huge car.
It didn't have a rear heater. Some of those Chrysler wagons had, front and rear. My '62 Chrysler wagon, New Yorker wagon, had air conditioning front and rear. I never expected in a '62 model, but it did. I drove a '68 Superior Cadillac combination car, hearse and ambulance. It had rear heat. I took it on a vacation up to San Francisco with the girl, supposedly my girlfriend. So about 10 or 15 minutes before we were going to stop, I flipped the rear heater on because the in the back where it was basically an ambulance in the back and a twin bed mattress fits perfectly back there. So I flipped on the rear heater. Everything was nice and toasty, and we were able to lay down back there. Very, very nice.
Dr. Go says Snorrier heater in the '72. Strebole says, by definition, a quesadilla must include cheese. It says so right in the name. Yeah, say that to the entire population of Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico City and the state of Mexico. They don't do that down there.
It's a fight that the entire country of Mexico have with that one
Yeah.
state. Thunderbird says, would that first car have both front and rear heat?
No, just in front. Ford never had a rear system of anything.
Fernando says, isn't the queso referring to cheese? Queso? Yeah, you would. Yeah.
You would think so, but
Joshua says that's right. So it says it's not even a quesadilla without cheese.
it's a taco. We know that. But
we started a revolution.
You're not going to explain that to people down there that have been doing that all their life. On the menu, it'll say quesadilla, and you will not get it with cheese.
It's a quesadilla. It says on the menu quesadilla, and then when you are ordering, because it's quesadilla, and you are ordering it with the dishes, like the flavors or whatever, and then they ask you, do you want this with cheese or without cheese? Because it comes without cheese.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't say anything and they don't ask you, they will put not cheese on it, because for them a quesadilla comes without cheese.
Yeah. And good luck if you want ice in your drink.
Oh yeah, it's too cold over there to have ice.
Not for me.
They sell warm cokes.
Yeah.
So what is this? What the fuck, Mexican?
I don't make the rules, Stray Bullet.
I think also the '72 wagon did have a 440, so it was pretty quick with trailer, towing, gears, and tons of torque. To surprise some '80s cool small cars. Pretty cool. But Mercury says on a '78 TT 500, I might have mentioned that before. Out of all the bikes I had, I wish that was still in my garage. The number says it's like ordering a glass of water and then being asked if you need a cup or not.
Thunderbird. I went into, I think it was a Burger King or something, and I went to the counter and I said I would like a hamburger plain, no vegetables, nothing. She says, "Do you want meat in that?" I said, "Without the meat, it's a cheese sandwich." "Yes, I want the meat." Of course.
Mm, Shibboleth says, "Where did you find that hearse girl?"
That's an interesting story. I mean, not where I found her. She was a friend of a friend, but the first time that I pulled up in a hearse, she would not even sit on the seat. She was with a friend of ours, John. He sat on the seat. She sat on his lap. By the time we went on this trip, this was a car. Actually, you can see the car on Night Rider. They rolled it over and blew it up. But we drove it up to San Francisco, and the tires were pretty bad on it. I lost the tread off of two tires at different times. So I lost the tread on one of them, and we pulled into a gas station, and they sold me a used tire and put it on the. This was at nighttime. Put it on the car, and we kept going. And the guy at the gas station, I was on the driver's side, she was on the passenger side, and the guy says to her, "Doesn't it bother you to be in this car?" She looks at him and says, "No, as a matter of fact, we dragged my mother off in this one." So she got really comfortable with the car. She was starting to have a lot of fun with it.
Steven Andrews says, "Well, they have cereal called grape nuts. No grapes, no nuts, so there's that."
Yeah.
Tunover's laughing. Real Shaman says, "Grape nuts is basically pulverized concrete."
If
Also,
you're lucky.
well, the Witcher is also laughing. Dr. Go says, "I like that F body Super B."
That I don't know why somebody hasn't talked to me about buying that, because it's a very nice car for a very reasonable price that you cannot find them. It is an automatic though,
Trevor says, "It's misleading advertising." Mm.
and they knew that when they named it Grape Nuts. I wonder if there's a story on the internet how that name came to be, where the guy sitting around a table says, "Let's fuck with these people. Let's call it this," and just never put anything like that in there.
What do they have? What does it have inside?
I don't know.
Cereal, like
It's some kind of healthy cereal,
oh,
so naturally I never ate it. I like a little cereal with my sugar.
Paco says, quesadilla de pollo sin queso. Yo diría taco de pollo. Sí,
¿Sí?
aquí también son tacos de
Pero no
pollo.
está en Ciudad de México. No.
En Ciudad de México
Si,
son
si,
quesadillas de
si
pollo.
no fuiste a
Sin
Ciudad de
queso.
México, debes ir a preguntar por un quesadilla. A ver qué pasa.
Te van a aventar con ella.
Sí. ¿Dónde está mi queso? No viene con queso. Pero está en el nombre. No, no viene con queso. Oh well. I can't eat cheese anyway. Cheese doesn't like me. So I stay away from it.
Mm.
Mrs. Beck buys a block of cheese every week for her food.
I don't buy a block of cheese.
It is a block of cheese.
It's a small block of cheese.
Well, how much was it today? This week, 500 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pound of cheese.
It's fun.
Yes, that's a pound of cheese.
Traveler says, "Sell down our teeth breaking cereal by calling it grape nuts."
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
I've never had it. So, does milk help? Does milk soften it up, or is it like eating rocks with liquid around it?
says, somehow I understand that perfectly.
Good.
World of Worship says, "My cousin ate a cheese sandwich for lunch every day from kindergarten through 11th grade. He probably continued this streak, but I flunked out at that point and could no longer gather data."
We had peanut butter and jelly. I was sent to school with peanut butter and jelly, and by the time lunch came around, the jelly was all the way through through the bread and trying to get to the bag. I still eat peanut butter and jelly. It's not allowed in schools anymore though.
World of Worship says that now that's litigation to the cops.
Yeah.
Patrico says Bob should like this white car. Fernando says, "Well, it costs at least one stupid kid to try to eat grape seeds." Josh Shaman says, "Imagine eating ground up bricks."
without the taste. Because bricks would taste better.
So it says you have to let the grape nuts soak, but they will get soggy super fast. Mm.
I just finished yesterday a box of corn pops. Now, Mrs. Spec had called Kellogg's here. There's a phone number on the box, so she dialed the number and somebody answered, and she asked about is it gluten free. So they passed her to the nutritionist on staff there, and they said yes, this is the only cereal we have that is gluten free. Well, I don't think it's gluten free. The way I'm feeling, and it's the only thing I changed in my diet. I'm my stomach is very inflated, the intestines and everything. I don't think it's gluten free. I don't care what they say over there.
George Roman says basically. Other campus says it's a V8.
The Fairmont is, yes.
I like it.
Needs a set of wheels. The turbine wheels look really good on these cars, Buff. I saw one's for sale that has turbine wheels. It looks really good. It fills up the wheel well, and it really accents the car. I'd rather have a stick shift though.
Thunderbird says I like this one a lot.
Would a Thunderbird? Oh, what? Sorry. Would a Fairmont even sell in Canada? Going through all the expense, because you're gonna want to make you.
Hey, baby.
You're gonna want to have a good profit on the cars when you sell them, so it has to make sense.
You're so dirty. Eee.
We're all dirty, okay?
You're just covered in like stuff.
Yeah, that's because he likes to sleep in my car.
You're
Stray Bullet
dirty.
says, I try to eat healthy cereal, but I still love Frosted Flakes. Well, I can't eat Frosted Flakes, but there's one company, there's the Nestle Corn Flakes here are gluten free, and Kellogg's Corn Flakes are not gluten free. There's some kind of stuff they put in there, but I do put a lot of sugar on my corn flakes, so
And chocolate syrup.
they are de facto Frosted Flakes. Yeah, if I don't, I'd rather. I'm kind of going back and forth. If I put when I have the chocolate syrup, I'll put the chocolate syrup in the frost in the cornflakes. I like the chocolate milk better, but whatever.
What do you like? What do you call my cereal?
Stephen Andrews says that's
Wheat.
puffed wheat. Stephen Andrews says ashamed to admit I like grape nuts, but yes, there's a precise timeline when they're edible.
Someone says, does anyone remember Tony the Tiger? Of course.
That they're great.
Darling, there's an entire fan page of Tony the Tiger. He's a daddy. Anyway, Robert says, Tribulate, the only healthy cereal is no cereal.
Gotta eat something in the morning.
I like wheat. I mean, I like what do you call it?
Puffed wheat.
No. The not cereal, but the avena.
I don't know.
Oats. I like oats.
She likes mush.
Oats. The girl says it also has to be produced and packaged away from any equipment or packaging equipment that has touched their gluten products.
Yeah, but I'm not that sensitive to gluten, Doctor Go. I'm not one of these kids. Will you stop it? I'm not one of these kids that get a little bit of gluten and have to go to the hospital. I'm not that sensitive, and it shouldn't have been, but it did affect me, so it's got some gluten in it.
Somebody ask a kitty? Yes, there's a kitty. The number
And
says,
he better shut up.
No, you shut up. Thunderbird says, yes, I think these types of cars would sell here. Somebody says, what about granola, Thunderbird? Fernando says, they're great. Dean says, oh, Dean is here. Hi, Dean.
Hey, Dean.
And Dean says, like 10.5 point chocolate syrup.
Gotta be Hershey's though. I won't accept any. Here's the pictures you put in there.
Okay.
The black Mustang GTO.
Thunderbird says humans do not thrive off of bird food. What? Humans do not thrive off of bird food.
No.
Striblet is fair point. Thunderbird says I eat eggs every morning for like 3 years, 5 or 6 eggs every morning, then a couple pounds of beef for lunch, and then normally a burger with some something.
Veggies for supper.
Veggies for supper. Okay.
I will right now. I'm alternating between the cornflakes and the 5 eggs, but I only get to eat 4 of them because I split the other one between my 2 cats. That's probably why their coats are so nice, because they're eating my eggs. But yeah, I'm switching back and forth. I don't want to eat too many eggs. But this car on the screen here, this is another Mustang SVO. 300 of them were made. Stop, stop it, stop it, stop it. I explained this yesterday. The black one that you were just looking at, black one you're still looking at.
No.
Huh?
I already told you what you're looking at is what they're looking at.
Whatever. Okay, the black one that you just looked at is a 84 Ford Mustang SVO hatchback. They made 300 of them at the end of the Mustang run when Mexico outlawed the V8 engine for the 85 model year. The black one is how it came out of the factory with the 4 whole wheels and stuff like that, but they want almost twice the amount of money that they want for this red one. Now, this red one is even more rare of the 300 because it has the US spec, the 1986 US spec SVO front end and hood. What you might notice is that the hood scoop is offset on this hood, like if this car had a 4-cylinder turbo engine, but it has a 302 V8 under the hood with the carburetor in the middle. So it's weird that somebody ordered this front end on this car instead of the normal Mustang front end that the other car had. And I've only seen 2 of them like this, even around. So this is a very, very rare car, and this one is very reasonably priced. And it's got power windows, power locks, air conditioning, 4-speed, and the bubble back. Go ahead and put the pictures. This is a very nice car. It does not have the original wheels, and it does not have the original steering wheel. I'm sure we can find the original wheels and paint them black because they're supposed to be black. But the original steering wheel, I'm not sure if we would be able to find one in good condition. I mean, the 5-star wheels look good on there, but they're not original. And a car that where there's only 300 of them made should be as original as possible. But it's a very reasonable price for a very rare car.
Dean says, Crunching granola's sweet. Neil Diamond said so. That finished it. Dean says, misquoted lyrics, Crunching granola's sweet song by Neil Diamond, 1971.
See, that's the steering wheel right there that is not stock. It looks like a Mustang steering wheel, but I don't think they ever had the flat part. I mean, it looks like you push the horn here. I don't know where that steering wheel came from.
Leonardo says, oh, no, wait. World of Watcher says, if what they say is true, the number of eggs that I eat daily should have killed me years ago.
Yeah, well, they went back on that and said the cholesterol from eggs is not harmful anymore.
Dean Stevenson says, lol, I'm still keeping it cruel. Andrew says, all grains and carbohydrates, are carbohydrates. Eggs are probably better for you. World of Watcher says, I love it. Andrew says, what is Frothy? Must be like a yogurt store or something like that. It's not like a brand name.
I don't know.
World of Worship says, overcame some OCD tendencies in my 20s and now appreciate asymmetrical things.
So that hood would have bothered you before?
Robert says, World of Worship, the whole cholesterol thing is a lie. Cholesterol is the precursor to our
essential hormones.
For essential hormones, plus cholesterol is very important for brain function.
Thunderbird, would a Mustang like that sell up there, being as rare as it is? I mean, I assume you have 4-wheel drive trucks up there, but they're probably rusted out. That might be something too. They don't go cheap here though. If you did buy VW Beetles, would you want the newest ones? You think those would sell better than the classic ones? It's hard to know because people up there have never experienced a 2003 Volkswagen Beetle, an air-cooled Volkswagen Beetle.
Remember, says that SDO Mustang would probably sell. Chevrolet says, I eat a lot of yogurt for breakfast much of the time. It seems to work for the people in the Netherlands. They are like a race of giants there. I eat a lot of yogurt too. Yogurt and what do you call it?
I don't know what that stuff is you put in it.
It's the same name. I just forgot the name right now.
Amaranto.
Amaranto. Amaranth.
Yeah, whatever. That stuff would get in my teeth and I'd never get it out.
It's not. It's soft. It's like rice. It's like puffed rice. Well, what you said before, age 22, I would have lost sleep over that hood. Well,
Really?
the number says no, no, definitely the classics would probably sell better. I feel like most people buying are looking for an old classic.
Well, they're all old classes because they're all 20 something years old, but they're the same vehicle. You just you live in a cold climate, so it's better to have fuel injection in the engine and disc brakes up front for safety. So that would be 1994 or newer. You might as well buy the newest one, the 2003 model, since they can be imported into your country with no problem. And then people can say, I have a 2003 Beetle. Rear engine, not that front engine crap. You should look around and see if anybody's selling any Mexican Beetles up there and see what kind of prices they're bringing. Because we would only send the nicest of the nice. Not gonna send anything más o menos. Not gonna do that.
So.
Yeah, you can't do that because there's a lot of people. Because you'll see on Facebook there's an Instagram, I was gonna say
My
channel, but
baby.
page that's Mexico Cars USA,
My
and
baby.
they get pictures sent to them all the time about Mexican cars that are in the U.S. And he'll find one on Facebook. Hey, there's this Volkswagen Beetle for sale. Yeah, the car's beat up. They want $5,000 for it, and there's no title. It's only Mexican paperwork. The car's basically worthless because the car would have to be brought back into Mexico. It would have to be crossed legally under the person's name, all of the fees paid and everything, and then be able to get their title over there. But seeing one for sale for $5,000 brings down the value of all the rest of them.
The number says breast milk is extremely high in cholesterol. It's crucial for brain development. Like Mr. Spec was saying, they are starting to realize that cholesterol was misunderstood with eggs.
Yeah, everything they taught us when we were kids was absolutely wrong.
Dean says, hello everyone. If I haven't ignored you yet, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get on the transport guy Thunderbird and see, just tell him, hey, from here, from the port to Nebraska, no, to North Dakota, I need that because we'll send him over to Florida, and he can pick them up there because he picks up cars for the friend of mine that brings cars in from Florida from Japan, and he does three, four, five at a time that my friend buys. So and he takes them to Tennessee, so he could like do that and go straight north and go to North Dakota. It shouldn't be that much farther, but the route is already down with the transport company.
Trevor says, I think any beetle will sell here. They are very rare here because they are rusted out. Even rust one is expensive.
But that's what I'm saying. You live in a very cold area, so the fuel injected it's TBI. It's not like it's injected into the cylinders, but the injected one will probably start easier than the carbureted one, and then the disc brakes in front is much safer for people. So I think it would be better to get the fuel injected with disc brakes on any Beetle that we send that far north. You're gonna have to do something with the heater in it though, because there's no heaters in Mexican Volkswagens. I don't even know how they would work. I could ask my mechanic. We may be able to fix things on them because there's a 2003 Beetle, a dark green one here in my town right now that is available, and it's a very nice car, and it's not outrageously expensive, but we don't have the shipping set up yet, so that could be a problem. I don't know how the heater works in a Beetle. or if anybody in Canada would expect a heater in a Beetle to work.
Barracuda says, I don't like to think of breath in that way. Fernando says, are the fuel injectors in the ones commonly available? The parts availability would be the only question.
It's a TBI, so I'm not sure. There's probably a part number on it that you could get at any Volkswagen outlet. The when they do something in Mexico, they use parts that are readily available. They don't create something. They don't make something. I'm sure it's a part from another vehicle, like the engine in the Combi from 1988 on. They took it right out of the Golf and they put it in the van. So that whole engine, the whole thing, it is the engine and everything around it is from the Golf. So that car was sold worldwide with that engine.
The number says, Barracuda, wouldn't you have you once too? Dean says, Barracuda, it's nice to see you don't objectify. The number says, yeah, although most people buying here would only be driving these cars in the summer.
But you never know.
Surrender says, some of them do. Barracuda says, I was grain fed right from the start. Dean says, I'm dumb because I was adopted out before I could get all my brain development food. Barracuda, you obviously did max out your allotment. You obviously max out your allotment. Thunderbird says, Barracuda, that explains a lot. Sir says, just ducted hot air from around the exhaust.
Okay, so all of those parts would need to be installed into the car. I'm sure they sell them here. There's a place in Guadalajara that it's a big store that sells anything you could want for a Volkswagen. I'm sure they have it all. And we could probably buy it on our eBay type thing and have it the next day. Or maybe the Volkswagen guy here, the little Volkswagen store here has it.
Oh, yeah. Is his nail sticking in his palm?
There's no nail there.
Um,
Maybe.
I thought it
Maybe it's
was.
curved around or it's broken. I think it's broken. Look at the other one.
No, I think it's broken.
Yeah, it's broken.
Okay.
It's not like a dog. It doesn't curve around and
Those two.
not in a cat.
Those two.
Dean is always thinking the breast about you, Barracuda.
So it says you could probably just use a set of Delorto carburetors to replace the fuel injection.
But they don't want to replace the fuel injection. The whole purpose of buying a fuel injected Beetle is to have the fuel injected Beetle. In a cold place, it's going to start easier because Volkswagens are known for not wanting to start. They're very finicky.
Another says this Nissan looks like a Fox body. Sorry.
Nissan and Toyota are known for copying other designs.
Josh Rama says Hickory, interesting car.
Hikari.
Hickory. Dean says straight bullet emulsion tube Weber's or the Lortos Rock. Milk is also an emulsion.
The first Toyota Celica was a copy of the Ford Mustang. Long hood, short deck, the same roof line. If you put them next to each other, you'll see the resemblance. Yes, Stray Bullet, it is a turbo. You still don't have a lot of power out of it, but I'm sure that can easily be changed. But it's a factory turbo model. Factory. There's also a white one for sale, but I don't like the way the front suspension looks. A turbo model. Once they were getting into these years, 88, 89, they started bringing in different kind of cars. You know, I think the whole 85, 80, 83, right around there where they wanted people to not have options in the cars and stuff. I think that kind of went away. That would have been a president, right? That made that decision in 83 so that luxury car stuff couldn't come into Mexico. They wanted things to be austero, right? So the 6 years later, that president would have been out because they can't run for a second term, and which would have been 89 or 88, 80 or 90 or whatever. So by 92, that turbo car was brought in and able to be sold. because the new administration had come in and the rules had changed. I want to drive one of these vans, see what it's like. Couldn't be any worse than the Ormiga.
I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves
Maybe the
the.
cat will dance with you.
Mm-hmm. Silver says, "Well, great fun, everyone. I gotta go plug in my truck. It's minus 13 Celsius. Wow, overnight.
Wow.
Look forward to next time. Peace out, everyone.
We're already in March, almost April, Thunderbird. What the hell?
Thank you for being here, Thunderbird.
Thanks. I'll be sending you an email as soon as I know from the transport guy.
Yeah, I'll also be working on my end
But since we already
tomorrow.
have the transportation set up in Veracruz, we'll probably send the cars to Florida and have them picked up there and then sent to North Dakota since it's right in the middle of the country, so it could go either way from either direction.
Fernando says the Corvair's heater was its undoing. More than any defect you hear about, any oil leak, gasoline leak, or exhaust leak when ride into the cabin. I still love it.
Yeah, those cars required more maintenance, definitely. I don't know how the belt lasted more than a week. I really don't. How the belt could twist like that on every revolution and it just not break and fly off. I mean, on these regular cars, a belt that just goes round and round and round doesn't know how lucky it has it. That it's not a Corvair belt. Because that's crazy. That whole design.
Mm, Fernando says night chat. Night Tibert. I'm sorry. I can't.
We still have a few cars left. But those 84 Mustang SVOs, very, very rare. They made 300 hatchbacks and they made 200 coupes. And the coupes are really hard to find. Really, really hard to find. Fully loaded, just like the hatchback is. I think I've only seen one and it was black. Also with a 302 under the hood and 4-speed manual. I seriously doubt they made an automatic in the SVO because they wanted the best car they could put together, like as a swan song, because they stopped making the Mustang after that. I only had one come off once, Stephen Andrews says,
On what?
on a Corvair. It's just shocking how what that belt has to put up with, and it doesn't come off all the time. On the Corvair, they have a pulley like this and a pulley like this. It's one belt that goes over. It goes from here, goes up here, and it has to twist to be able to go onto this pulley, and then it comes back and has to twist again to go back down. So, so it's constantly twisting on a Corvair rear engine.
Remember that time we lost the belt on Durango?
Yes, I do. It has nothing to do with this.
It wasn't fun.
No.
Remember that other time that we had to cut the Durango's belt with a knife?
I think it's fixed. I think Monsavo fixed it.
Sorry. Barcola says if they get hot enough, they can explode.
A Corvair you're talking about, Barracuda? Or the belt? I never had a Corvair. My friend that lives in Florida, after he crashed his grandfather's car that was given to him, a Dodge Coronet, his parents bought him an automatic Corvair, and they thought it was a slow car, so he couldn't do anything with it. They were wrong. He said he's had a couple Corvairs after that, so I guess he liked the car. But now he's into Porsche and Mercedes.
Of the campus leaving.
Good night, Buff. We're just about out of here too.
They had to Kim from us.
There's 9 plus 7. There's 16 pictures left. 15 pictures left.
Triple says, I'm thinking about double propane swap onto something because of $6 per gallon gas.
You're still going to end up paying the same after the installation and everything. You might as well just buy the gasoline.
Surrender says, never
I'll
had.
see you on Tuesday, Buff.
Sorry. Surrender says, never had one break. The later magnesium fans were much lighter, less inertia.
That's weird. Because I'm talking about the way the belt has to twist one way and then twist the other on every rotation. Because it's twisting twice actually. It twists this way, then it comes back around, has to twist this way back, and then twist this way. So it keeps twisting back and forth like that. I don't see how it doesn't break. Do that enough with a piece of metal and it breaks.
But it's being warm. I mean, it being rubber.
Belts aren't rubber.
They're not
I mean, they're rubberized, but they're not. They're not just rubber.
No, but
I don't know what else
rubberized.
they're made of. They have stitching
Like
in there
rope.
too.
Yeah. Qué peludo es usted, camámalo.
This is the 94 Ram Charger. I think it said
Yep.
94.
Triple says propane is only about half the price of gas here.
Yes, but you're still going to pay for installation, and then you have to. Propane doesn't give you the same miles per gallon or miles per liter or whatever it is, miles per pound that gasoline does. So you're still going to be spending a lot.
That was, were they a B belt or a round section?
They were a V belt. Yeah.
Surrender has an S B belt.
Look for a video of a Corvair engine running, Tabo, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The way it has to twist to go from vertical to horizontal on every revolution. It's crazy, that design. And they did it with belts from the 60s, starting in 1960. So it wasn't like they had, all the advancements that they have now.
That was his round sections would have been more sensible in that use.
Did they have that in 1959? Because that's when the car was brought out to the public. Look who's here.
Kevin Smith.
Right at the end. We only have 2 more pictures left, Kevin. How you doing tonight?
He said, never fear, Kevin's here. Couple says, I know the setup, which is why I wonder about the belt type.
That was a V belt.
Dean says, the V12 Hickory and two-door coupe variant of the Nissan Sunny / Suru 2 shows so many Subaru XT Vortex and Alcyon similarities from 85 to 91. I thought they were the same car.
You think that car looks like a Subaru XT? No. The Subaru XT is way weirder. Way weirder.
Very cool as eucalyptus trees.
Much more weird. We'll do it that way. Hi. I have a little bit of chocolate syrup left. I can put some milk in this chocolate syrup container and have some chocolate milk. And shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. That's the way it works. Well, we're back to the beginning with the 2000 Volkswagen Beetle in red.
Tapos cansado de put Kevin in the naughty corner, please. Why?
He just got here, Towel. He has to get all of his negative energy out. That's what he's here for.
Wait, why? What's going on? There was they were putting a twist of belts going back to the steam engine era.
I've never seen one of those.
Dean says Fuji Heavy Industries shared Jatco gearboxes, independent rear suspensions, and some parts in 85 to 92. Those two cars shared only the body concepts. I'm amazed. Mark Sube says that La pickup box front could have been designed a little better.
They don't worry about design here. They just want to get it out to. It's a work truck.
Kevin says, back from the shrinking world of model cars. Fernando says, the design an upgrade with squirrel cage blowers that would have used a normal belt setup but never made production.
Mm.
Kevin says, Tavo, you're safe from me. What happened? Did I miss it? Dean says, Kevin Shrinky Smith Ferrari hasn't even booked yet. Tavo.
My eyes are starting to hurt. I'm tired. Prime of the century. What century? You can't say this century because we got a lot more left of the century. Yeah, the 2000s. No, the 2000s. Yeah, 2000 to 2099, the century. 100 years. Sorry, 2001 to 2100 is the century.
Mark says, Loyal accidentally muted the live.
That's all right. We didn't put you to sleep then.
Dean says, I misspelled boop yet. I mean.
So are we gonna go?
Yes.
I think we should go. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for being here again on our late night Sunday live.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Mark. Kevin.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Final Century is a great Super Tramp album. Super Tramp?
Oh, somebody had to use that name for an album.
Stray Bullet Towel, thank you for being here. Barracuda. Andres. Thank you guys for being here, for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see you next week at the same time.
And I will see most of you in other lives. Good night.
Good night.